after hours, and you go to these clubs and there'll be like a line out of the bathroom, but there's actually some guy just serving up Coke bags in the toilet. So that guy, they liked it, but again, it became too much work, and I just didn't want to do it. So I got in. This was during Alpha Bay, and at this time it was on its rise. On the rise of Alpha Bay, they had a guy named Trappy. He was the PR guy. Anyway, he wasn't making enough money. I talked to him. He wasn't happy with all the money he was making. So I had some cards, and I was like, I'm not doing the Coke thing anymore. And he was mad at the Alpha 2 guy, and he gave me the website of he said, this is his website, and this is all this, and here's all this information. Give it to me for a couple cards. He sold out to his boss I think I gave him like 10 cards. So what did I do? Go to Alpha 2 and I give him, hey, this is what I got. And then he says, how much? I was like, oh, nice. Money. So I just throw a number out there. Give me $5K. He did it. Now I knew I had something. I didn't know what. Right? He would pay me this money. The site where it was registered, I think it was his red herring, to be honest, but it was close enough where and we did this all on Reddit too. Remember Darknet markets on Reddit? So yeah, Alpha 2 was getting extorted through Reddit, and I had a friend that I brought in. And I told him, hey, this guy named Kinger, he was having problems with him as well. So I brought him in, and he completely backstabbed me. He was going to teach me some advanced spamming techniques, and he only got halfway through and just cut off. But he was extorting him on the back end as well. It was nice, I felt bad. I was dating a Marxist-Leninist at the time. So I'm in the living room. I'm like, man, I hope this guy is not gonna kill himself or something because he's getting extorted. She's like, he's fine. So that was the thing. It was like dating Mark. They're not gonna call the cops because they hate him. And she would always tell me, you think you could exist, or she would say with this crypto coin that I could struggle outside the system. I'm like, I'm not working. I'm getting these coins. I think I'm doing pretty good. Back on it. So I think Joseph Cox, the guy Kinger, contacted this guy Joseph Cox, and he made an article that was, hey, pretty much about him getting extorted. And that absolutely pissed off Alpha 2. And he went and changed his name to try to make it seem like he's no longer there, and then he came back as admin. So if anybody wants to know why that happened, it was because on the back end he was getting extorted. And it'd be like, a clip, I feel like 10 grand a day, hand it over, and he would. And then that article came out and he stopped. So that dried up, that sucks. So I had to find something else. This was about 2015 or so. The market was still going. I just moved to Washington, D.C. I was living in the Columbia Heights neighborhood, and I was walking by this place called The Diner, and I noticed they had a Bitcoin ATM in there. I was like, okay, cool. So what I do, I go and get hired at the place so I could stake out the ATM. And if you know anything about the Diner in D.C. back at that time, they actually had door guys because it was late. It was open 24/7, so it's the only restaurant I've ever been to that had door people. Like they were like bouncers. And I would, the cool thing about it too is I would know who was coming in, and so I would watch who's getting all the money out, or I would know that if I did a big transaction out of it because, I would come to those Bitcoin ATMs, hit a bunch of money, hold a bag, and it would all shoot out, I did that once at the H.R. Brown Center in Houston. I think I got like $9,000 out of it. It was a convention center like this. Everybody was in suits. I walk over there, flip-flops, just got out of bed with the bag. All these suits are in the Starbucks looking at me. I'm like, filling it up, close the bag, give them deuces, and I just leave. They were perplexed. So, at this time, Alpha Bay gets busted. I realized that I hate working, so I quit that job. But I managed to sneak a USB into the network, into the closet network, and then also managed to pop the back and get USB into that Bitcoin machine. And I had access to the POS system, and I did a bunch of not cool things, All right. So, during this time, everybody was, the way that all the stuff got out there was on our Darknet markets. And then, they had enough, and they booted us out. So it was the start of Dread. And it's like a Darknet Reddit, but way better, way cooler, and it's not full of a bunch of weird, they let me do whatever, you can talk about whatever you want, you can, they're not gonna get, you really gotta go out of your way to get banned for talking on there, but it was started by the Hug Bunter. Now, there is Ross, everybody knows that he pretty much birthed the marketplace, but I would say the most important, especially in the last, since it existed, was Hug Bunter. Dread and the infrastructure they provided and all the stuff that they do for the community, harm reduction, all this was created, and it went from a chaotic place to some sort of order. And, the market admins would get verified and they could, it was a place to guard the community. So I was a bit taken back yesterday. On the stage, Roger, the Tor developer, would say, those Darknet guys are nothing. We just leave them over there. Don't worry, they've never helped Tor at all. And I thought Hug Bunter would get a laugh at that. So I got something to say his rebuke to Roger, the Tor dev, talking about there was a DDoSer that sent him $10K, and the guy was talking about how he sent it to a burn wallet and didn't use the money, and I actually know the DDoSer guy, but Hug Bunter's response to the Tor dev is the Tor project has received well over 6 figures directly due to initiatives launched by Dread, including internal fundraisers to tackle DOS problems. They gladly accepted these funds, most of them submitted by Darknet marketplaces, and then stated afterwards they cannot assign the donations to specific areas of Tor. They gladly accepted and used it for whatever they liked and neglected the entire network for over 4 years. Sorry about that. Before they released POW. Endgame has had a direct effect on improving the stability of the Tor network by reducing constant attacks over the years, as well as giving service operators an option that is healthier to the network than other possible protection attempts. Dread has strictly handled all these attacks against our own service, with the priority being the health of the Tor network and mitigated potential issues, even when it would render our service as offline, in the name of preserving the network health. And there has been multiple significant pull requests and contributions by ourselves, as well as the tickets and logs submitted to provide crucial data to assist them as much as possible. So Roger, the Tor Dev oppressor over here, was quite wrong. All right, so let's just go on. Moving on. So, with Dread and the new structure and a new place for everybody come, the markets itself became more sturdier, and you would see them last longer. Also, too, I would want to add that this community is also showed the test case of Bitcoin when it first came out. We showed it was possible to use it for transactions, whether if you like it or not. It was just people who find that the war on drugs doesn't really affect them. Therefore, they're going to do what they want, which I love that as well. All right, we're gonna. All right, we're gonna. So, let's see here. All right, so we're gonna go to the Hidden Hand. There was a carding site, Hidden Hand, that was also coming up, and it's important to this because this is where I found out where I could get on these forums, and then, with the free BTC stealers or the free programs, get these people, Tor or not, to download the program, and I was able to capture the computers. I was using Imminent Monitor at the time. I would spread stealers, rats, and I found out that the admin who was running the site wasn't technically proficient. He was leaking everywhere, his IP and everything. So I was able to track him down. And this is my second over extortion. And I felt bad for it. But yeah, so if you're gonna do darknet market stuff, be prepared with your OPSEC, because somebody out there is gonna go out there and they're gonna try to get you. That's just the nature of it. Moving forward, come speeding up. So looking for a job, went on the Russian exploit IM. They don't like Americans, so I spoke Spanish on there. Wanted to try my hand at ransomware. Got on the Gag Crab project. So my favorite target with that was real estate agents. They're greedy. They'll open stuff. Their Remax and their email their servers, always outdated. I thought it was the perfect target. So I would spam, scrape emails off Google, spam them. Here's my house, here's the dimensions. Open this link, get their computers. I didn't like it, trying to haggle with people, of trying to get the money out of them. And what made me really dislike it too was I was trying to target real estate agents, and one day I was in the panel and I look, got a school. Not good. I think some lady I sent an email to was working at the school, opened the email up on the school network, and I accidentally got the school. That's the best way I could think. Anyway, so working on them, then Empire Market came up, and I was on the forums. They offered me a job. I took it. I worked there for about a week before they realized they didn't like me. So they fired me. Not to mention on the forum, I posted a picture, dumb, of the panel and some security research, found the Grand Crab panel and tweeted it, and then the owner of Grand Crab found out and booted me off the thing. My Marxist-Leninist wife looked at me like, how do you get fired from